Every club wants to have a bigger impact in their community. They want an organization that people are eager to be a part of, one where every member enjoys their Rotary experience and improves their community.
Many don't realize that most clubs will lose 15% of their current members each and every Rotary year. 15% of a 40-member club is 6 members gone.
Club experience is a primary reason members stay, but it's also the primary reason they leave. Life changes beyond our control are another common reason members move on.
If we aren't working on creating an engaging experience for current members and attracting new members to replace the ones we're losing, how can we truly make the impact our communities need when our clubs are shrinking at this rate?
As a volunteer organization, most of us don't have the time to search for information or ideas about growing members in our clubs. The Membership Action Plan makes it easy. On our interactive website, you'll find a toolbox full of easy-to-implement strategies, along with real-time data about your club's membership.
The only formula for consistent membership growth is intentional work on both attraction and engagement. By following the Membership Action Plan, you'll gain insight on accelerating membership growth, confidence on engaging current members, and clarity in making your club irresistible.
To kickstart your membership growth, 1. Set your goals in the Membership Action Plan website. 2. Attend the monthly Membership Action Plan webinars. 3. Implement the attraction and engagement strategies to become irresistible.
Hope is not a strategy for membership growth. If you added more members to your club, how could you make a greater impact in your community and in your club members' lives?
Make a bigger impact in your community and create an irresistible club for your members.
Set your goals in the Rotary Membership Action Plan website to take the first step.
Good evening, membership champions. Welcome back to our regular attendees amongst us. And for those who are joining the Membership Action Plan webinar, the MAP webinar for the very first time, a very warm welcome to you as well. We're excited you've joined us because it means you want to see your Rotary Club grow. And whilst we can create the environment for growth, provide the resources and spotlight on the why you should do it, why we should do it, we need to recognize that the only place this can happen is within our clubs. So let's recap. Why are we doing this? Well, the vision of the Membership Action Plan is to establish membership growth as a catalyst to fulfill Rotary International's vision, where we come together to see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and perhaps most importantly within ourselves. The realization came that while some clubs succeed in growing their membership, many clubs need a plan that they could easily follow. It was immediately actionable and backed by real-time data. And the Membership Action Plan, or MAP as we call it, offers a multi-year data-driven step-by-step plan to help our clubs achieve consistent, moderate membership growth, the holy grail. We know that by growing your clubs, you create lasting change in your communities, and growing clubs tend to be the ones as well that are healthy by offering their members the best possible experiences. And these monthly sessions, these MAP sessions, will provide fundamental tips and techniques to help your clubs to recharge their batteries, to recover and grow for those of you who are struggling at this point in time. And for those of you already growing, to take you to new heights. Please note, however, that whilst these methods are proven to work, they aren't intended to replace successful processes that already exist in your clubs. In fact, we always want to hear what you're working on, and along the way, we'll be finding ways to share and brag about your successes too. And there's an opportunity tonight to you ask those questions and to tell us how well you're doing. So today's webinar is all about that, and in particular, how we can make our clubs simply irresistible. So good that our members won't be able to wait for their club meetings and other Rotary experiences to start, and they won't want them to stop once they have. So how do we do this? Well, Rotary's given us a great framework to build our irresistible club experiences around. And that's the 4 pillars of our action plan: increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing our participants' engagement, and increasing our ability to adapt. So as you hear from our presenters tonight, if you can identify how they've used these 4 pillars to help build irresistible experiences for their members. Before we start, just to give you some upfront information, we're asking you to complete an action item each month to be eligible for your MAP awards. And as a reminder, the first one from last month's webinar was quite simply to set your goal in the club membership success center. And so you've already done that, then you're well on your way. And look at that later tonight, you're here for the action item for tonight and for September. Without further ado, I now turn the stage over to MAP Committee Chair, Patrick Eakes, to guide us through tonight's program. Patrick, over to you.
Thank you, Director Jeremy. Tonight, we're going to hear from two featured speakers, a past club president and a current club president who will share with us how they have made their clubs irresistible. They created club cultures that engage their current members and attract new members. They created these club cultures by developing and executing plans that provide the members what they want, with a healthy amount of energy. These two presidents are in different situations. One is in the mid-Atlantic of the United States and was president of a 35-year-old club. The other is a charter president of a new club in the far southeast of the United States. What they have in common is the vision, wisdom, and energy to turn their clubs into magnets for Rotarians. That is, to create irresistible clubs. Our first featured presenter tonight is Tracy Hagier, the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Wacomico County in Maryland, United States. As Tracy prepared to become club president, she knew that her members needed to become more engaged. I encourage you to take to heart Tracy's comments as she chats with Zone 33 Rotary Coordinator and MAP team member Terry Weaver about how she enhanced member engagement in her club.
Tracy, becoming an irresistible club ties in nicely with Rotary's action plan. One of those pillars, enhanced participant engagement, includes the comfort and care of members. Can you tell us about some of the things you did to reach out and connect with your members?
Sure. One of my goals when I first became president was to work on some form of active engagement from all members in my club. I'd been a club member for 8 years, and there were still individuals in the club I didn't know very well. And during my training before becoming president, I was made aware that most people who join Rotary join for loosely one of 3 reasons. Those individuals looking for community service opportunities, those looking for fellowship with similar-minded individuals, and those who want to build relationships with other business members in the community. So how was I going to make my club irresistible? Initially, I was concerned with getting to know each and every member of my club. I served as secretary for several years prior and was familiar with faces and names of individuals, basically who they were, but not exactly what they did specifically for our club. I worked on communication. I tried to engage each person in a personal conversation, no matter how brief. I conferred with long-standing members of our club and spoke about how we could better engage each member. This brought to my attention that there were a few members still in the books who paid dues, but were not attending very many meetings. I made it my goal to find out, and this led to a very comical situation. I'm a pretty tenacious person, and there was this one member who was the leader of a local church that was very active in community service. Specifically, a large portion of our community service projects that we participated in involved his church. He was a very key member of our club, and he hadn't been in a while. So I reached out via email to ask if everything was okay, and that I hadn't seen him at any recent meetings. He gave a lukewarm response and said he'd be back soon. He came to maybe one more meeting. A few months passed by and he stopped attending, and I reached out again, this time with a phone call, and I was immediately sent to voicemail. One day I was driving by his office and I thought I'd try to see him in person. And this was right after COVID, and the front door had a sign that said ring for entry. So I rang the bell, no response. I tried a few more rings and no answer. I noticed that the building next door had an employee outside, so I walked over and I asked if he knew if the pastor was in his office. He said yes, and he'd call him for me. I could hear the conversation, and I could hear that the pastor was a little bit exasperated, and he said, "Tell her to come back by the door and I'll let her in." That conversation ended up lasting for well over an hour. And my key takeaway from why he wasn't attending was that he just didn't feel welcome. He would come to our meetings and sit at a table and try to engage in conversation, and it just never went well. So I made a bargain with him. I said, if you attend more meetings, I would come to his Sunday school one week. And there's a little bit of a backstory. I was a previous member of this church for many, many years, but I changed churches when I got older. Well, he agreed. I then approached our immediate past president of the club, who was of a similar age, and told him about this conversation. And he was surprised. He agreed to make an effort to make him feel welcomed at future meetings. The next Tuesday, the pastor shows up and the past president sat at his table, and the conversation was so productive that he ended up becoming a board member of his organization, something he'd been wanting to get involved in for a very long time, and it ended up being a perfect fit. I was also concerned about how I could make new members more comfortable in the beginning of their experience. That was one of the memories I had when I was a new member, that I just never felt quite connected. I never felt like I could create a conversation. Our meeting time were so short that it just was never conducive to that. So I thought, how would I connect them to more seasoned members? So I created a bingo card game. Each member's name was listed on the card, and each new member was given a sheet. On each table were sheets of star stickers. The new members were expected to introduce themselves to someone they didn't know and say a bit about themselves, and the seasoned member would in turn talk a little bit about themselves, and then they'd place a star on their name on the card. When the new member had the card 80% filled, they received a goodie bag, which was just basically tchotchke I'd gathered from business members in our club, but it was really cute. It ended up being a huge success. Not everyone had their card filled in, but it definitely broke the ice and gave them a reason to speak to each other initially.
Tracy engaged each of her members individually. During that process, she learned that a longtime member didn't feel welcome at club meetings. We know that poor club culture is a driver of member departure, but Tracy addressed that issue and made the much improved club culture a driver of membership attraction. The member who was drifting away from the club learned that other clubs valued him and wanted him to remain in the club. But Tracy didn't stop there. The bingo game that she created gave members a fun way to engage with each other. By engaging with each member and creating the bingo game, Tracy has provided two great examples of ways to create a culture of care and engage your members. One of the 4 pillars of Rotary's action plan is to enhance participant engagement. Tracy did that in her club, and her club has shown dramatic growth in its membership. Improving club culture is an important step to becoming an irresistible club. Tracy transformed her 35-year-old club, but our next speaker started with a brand new club, a blank slate, if you will, and created something amazing. Eric Johnson is the president of Safety Harbor Noon Rotary Club in Florida, United States. Listen as he talks with past Zone 34 Rotary Coordinator and current MAP team member George Robertson Burnett about how he enhances member engagement in his club.
Well, welcome, Eric. Nice to have you here this evening. Having visited your wonderful club, I was immediately struck by the pace, energy, and contagious vibrancy of the meeting. How do you achieve that?
So our meetings are, they're nonstop. Okay, so and the PowerPoint, the visuals that I use, they really take our members and they take our guests on a journey. One of the things that we do right after we stand up, everybody together in the club, we together recite Rotary's motto and Rotary's mission, and then we go into our selfie time. And this is one of the ways that we've created this really fun experience and a way to promote our club on social media. So we take about 5 minutes. Everybody goes around, starts taking selfies of each other in groups. Everyone's smiling and they're having fun. They're meeting new people. This is the big key because we want all the guests to feel like they are valued in that time. Everyone's meeting new people. They're walking around. Hey, how are you? Let's take a selfie together. And then right in the meeting, I ask everybody to come back to your seats. Okay, post Post to your own social media. We don't want you posting to our club Facebook page because only the people that are going to see that are the members, right? So put it on your own social media. And then what happens every Wednesday at noon when our club meetings are, people start posting on the social media and they see, wow, you're having a lot of fun in this Wednesday meeting. What are you doing here? What's this Rotary all about? Can I come as a guest? Now we've created this anticipation of people from social media that come now because we want to see what this is all about on Wednesdays at noon.
What a great idea. And having been party to that selfie element, it was a great deal of fun. One of the aspects that I would like to just follow on from, you know, the way that you use PowerPoint throughout the meeting, I mean, it can almost feel a little bit as if things are happening randomly. But I've got a hint here that there's nothing random about your meetings. Would that be fair to say?
Everything from the moment those people, our guests and our members, walk through the door for that hour, we have our meeting so planned out that there's not going to be any downtime for them. They are going to know what's going on. So some of the things that we do, the PowerPoint that we use, again, like I mentioned, takes you on a journey. Every part is maximized. Every part of our meeting is maximized, and every part of our meeting is thought out. I have 1 hour to impress a guest, 1 hour to make a member feel like they know what's going on in the club. And we want them to be excited about coming back. One of the slides that I show in our meeting is our strategy for our guests and for our members. And our strategy is this: it's to connect, engage, and grow. So how do we do that? I tell people from speaking to them, we're going to connect you with a club. We're going to connect you with an awesome sphere of influencers. We're going to engage you in your community with all the opportunities that we have to serve and that we have to socialize with each other. And then we're going to grow you within yourself, because I know and we know that Rotary, if you let it, if you jump in, Rotary will grow you as a leader and as a person. So we talk a lot about that, because people want that. People want to feel connected and they want to be engaged and they want to grow themselves. So those are the opportunities that right off the bat, we tell them, this is what you are entering into. And if you let it, Rotary is going to grow you as a person and as a leader.
Hey, thanks, Eric. And I can assure you that the end result, it was a meeting that was absolutely fabulous. Apart from that speaker, he was a bit ropey. Oh, wait a minute, that was me. Anyway, thanks for that. We'll be back a little bit later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eric and George. Eric said, connect, engage, and grow. These are simple but powerful words. Early in every club meeting, club members and visitors connect and engage with each other by taking selfies. Then Eric encourages them to post their photos out to their friends via social media. In the opening minutes of each meeting, President Eric has members and would-be members engaging with each other in an energetic way. Eric also said that he maximizes every minute of the hour he spends with visitors and members to make absolutely sure that all attendees have a great experience. Clearly, Eric is focused on enhancing the participant experience, in this case, for both visitors and members. Now, as you can see, neither Tracy nor Eric could join us live this evening, but their dedication to creating the best possible membership experience in their clubs comes through even in these recorded interviews. Next, we will return to Tracy as she talks about growing the membership of her club.
Two more components of Rotary's action plan are increase our impact and expand our reach. And to do either of those, you'd probably need to grow your club. You had significant growth the year you were president. Can you tell us some of your leadership strategies that led to that?
Sure, absolutely. First off, I'd like to say we've been very, very lucky in that we have the general manager of a local broadcast station in our club. She's been very instrumental in getting published service announcements out about our club's upcoming fundraising efforts. And she publicizes our participation in community-wide events. She's been such a tremendous help. One other initiative I took as president I thought had a significant impact on increasing our membership, was that after every speaker came to our meeting to present, I would follow up with an email thanking them for attending. I included any positive tidbits and remarks that I would hear from members, just to give it that personal touch. And I included at the end of each email that they would make an excellent candidate as a potential member of our club. And if they wanted more information, they just needed to contact me. I'd send them an application and other information. This garnered a handful of new members, probably about, I think, 6, maybe 5 or 6, and also increased the diversity of our group. We were also very blessed to have a new member who loved the club and what it stood for, and she was very active in attracting new members. And I asked her, when I saw her promoting these new members, I asked her, I said, what compelled you to ask these other people to join the Rotary? And I'm going to read you her response verbatim. She said, it's rewarding. It's a place to fellowship and make friends with good people who in turn do great things to help others in the community. It's enriching, helps you grow personally and professionally and to be your best self. You learn about different businesses each week and you get good ideas. It's fun. We do fun and creative things at meetings, socials, and it's fun to help people. And it's inspiring. Rotary is a whole new experience for me. I was impressed from my initial meeting with Connie and Michelle, as I am when I leave every meeting. And Connie and Michelle are the 2 members that asked her to join. She says it's good to see great things getting accomplished when service above self is put into action. So those are a few things that we did, that we tried, that ended up being very successful. These are only a few of the things we did during my year as president. I have to conclude that it was a very, very much a group effort. Getting others to help can be very rewarding to them. You don't know the talents of your group unless you get to know them. I found that we had marketing executives in this group that did phenomenal changes to our marketing strategies. And I wouldn't have known that if we didn't communicate with them or try to, find out who they were and what they did and what they enjoyed doing. We had a lot of people that just took hold of some of our social activities and made them amazing. One in turn reduced the cost of our Christmas party. It was only 25% of the cost of what previous years were. And it was amazing. It was just as nice. So I don't think we would have had those opportunities if we didn't engage them like we did.
I heard 2 important notes in what Tracy just said. The message that Tracy received from a new member on the value of her membership in Tracy's club is profound. Of her membership, she says, it's rewarding, it's enriching, it's fun, and it's inspiring. Wow. When your members say things like that, you know you have an irresistible club. Who wouldn't want to feel inspired and enriched and rewarded and to have fun? The second key point that Tracy made is that her improved club culture and irresistibility is a group effort. You see, membership is a team sport. It takes several people bringing their diverse skills and perspectives to create and execute a plan to make a club irresistible. Eric Johnson has our final segment tonight, and he talks about providing lots of opportunities for his members to engage with each other and their surrounding community.
Okay, Eric, and now retention is an important element of growth. What are some of the strategies you use to maintain and grow attendance at your meetings?
Wow, George, that word right there is such a powerful word, retention. How do you retain members? How do you keep your members engaged? Because every club, unfortunately, is going to have people leave. It's just part of life. They got a job change. They got, they got to move somewhere else. They got so there's this. You're constantly going to be losing members. But how do you create growth? And how do you create the opportunity? Because if you're not bringing in new members, and you're going to keep losing members, what's going to happen to your club? You're going to die. If you're not bringing in new members, if you're not constantly focusing on bringing in new members, your club is going to die. So one of the things that we do in our club, and it takes a lot of work, we have about 10 to 12 opportunities a month for our members to be engaged in our club. So what do we have? We have the 4 weekly meetings. Every other Thursday night, we have a social. So that's 2 socials that we have. And then we have 3 to 4 serving opportunities every week. And what do we do? So I believe that if you have such a wide segment of your community, such a wide segment of your members, you're going to have members that want to focus on veterans. You're going to have members that want to focus on children, education, environment, human, mental illness. So if you have opportunities, if you only have 2 big service opportunities a quarter in your club, and they're all about veterans, well, then if you have someone that doesn't want to serve with veterans, what are they going to do? If you have a lot of opportunities with homeless, but then you have some members that maybe they're scared to work with homeless, what are they going to do? How are they going to gauge? So I feel if you have a bunch of little opportunities where you just need 5 or 6 members to go, cooking at the local food pantry, then you have some members that go and serve the homeless people, and then you have some that go and work with veteran opportunities. Little small serving opportunities that don't really take a lot of work to create those opportunities. I feel it works better than having 1 or 2 big opportunities where you need 20 or 30 members to go do your big road cleanup or something. So that's been part of our strategy. 3 to 4 serving opportunities a month, 4 meetings, 2 socials. You have 2 to 3, sometimes 4 engagement opportunities every week for your members to connect. Because this is what happens. If you think about this, your regular weekly meeting, you come in, most people have about 5, 6, 7 minutes at the front of the meeting to connect with their members. And then you get the meeting going, the bell rings, this is going on, bell rings, and people leave, right? If that member doesn't come to the social and doesn't come to connect in the serving opportunity, they're not really engaging with the other members of the club. So you got to create a lot of opportunities outside of the meeting, because again, remember, the meetings are for the guests. The meetings are for the guests. So one of the things that I do is I know that my member's coming, right? But who are they bringing as a guest? Who is that member going to bring that week that is going to engage in your sphere of influence that you're trying to create? One of the things that I do is every week I send an email to the club members. Who are you bringing? Who's going to bring your guests this week? Because that's so important. Again, focusing on growing your club. Every week you should be having guests come, and then focus on the retention aspect of it to hold the current members there. You're going to lose some of them, but how are you going to make it really hard for them to leave? That's what you don't want. You don't want people leaving because I was just bored. I didn't feel like I connected anyways. That's horrible. They should be leaving because they had a real reason behind their leaving.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Could I just ask you quickly, your community has, I think, a once a month street party sort of thing, and Rotary's always there. What is that about?
Yeah. So our community is the 3rd Friday. Every 3rd Friday, the main street shuts down, and we saw that as a perfect opportunity. 2 things. My goal is that the Rotary logo gets everywhere in the community. See this? This is our little beer tab. We created a Rotary beer. We got this in a few of the little restaurants in town. But my goal is that, we're the Rotary Club of Safety Harbor Noon, so that's the Nooner, so Safety Harbor Nooner. My goal is that people in the community start to see our logo and they say, oh, that's good people doing good things in the community. How do we get out in the community? You go to where the community is. You don't expect that the community is going to come to you. Don't expect that the community is going to come to your meeting. You got to go to the community to engage in the community. So we do a 3rd Friday 10. We do a lot of fun in our community. We've got so many members that have come to our club because they've seen us at 3rd Friday. And we're not doing that much. We're just hanging out, having a good time. We're talking about Rotary. It's the great opportunity. Go get in your community. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, but you got to engage your community so they know what Rotary is.
Hey, and that Nooner is an absolutely great beer, by the way. Thanks for that.
Nothing like beer to sell Rotary, right? Eric's club provides so many opportunities for social and service outside of the weekly meeting. Those events outside the regular meetings are the good stuff. That's where members talk one-on-one, get to know each other on a deeper level, and form lasting bonds. That goes back to the connect, engage, grow theme that Eric mentioned earlier in this webinar. Tracy and Eric have provided you with several takeaways this evening. Irresistibility is all about the club experience that your members have. Tracy and Eric described what they planned and implemented to create great club cultures. In fact, their club cultures are a big part of their brands. You might choose to try some of their strategies or not, but either way, I encourage you to be just as intentional in your plans as they have been. You won't create an irresistible club by accident or luck. Irresistible clubs are the result of building an atmosphere where members get value from their membership, value from their relationships with other members, and know that they are valued by club leaders. This creates a magnetic energy that binds current members and attracts new members. Speaking of new members, you can expand the reach of your club by reaching out to underrepresented groups in your community. Go to them and network. Offer your service capacity and be ready to listen to their needs. As you network and listen to them, they are bound to notice your club's irresistibility too. We hope you enjoyed the conversations with Tracy Hagier and Eric Johnson. And if you did, you'll be pleased to know that they will be back with us for our October MAP webinar. They'll share additional tips about how they've created irresistible clubs. We will also have a very special surprise guest with us next month. So we hope you'll tune in to see what that's all about. Mary Ligon is a Zone 34 Assistant Rotary Coordinator and MAP team member. She's going to moderate our question and answer section tonight. So Mary, I yield the virtual floor to you.
Thank you, Patrick. Those were great segments that we heard from Tracy and Eric. And remember, tonight we're doing things a little differently. I'm asking the questions, you're providing the answers, because you are doing great things in your clubs and we want to hear from you. So remember, you're putting in the chat what you're doing in answer to my questions. So my first question is around enhancing engagement. We heard from Tracy some examples of how they worked on engagement. What are you doing to enhance engagement in your club? How do your members, new ones and old ones, visitors, know that you value or care about them? Let's light up that chat. I'm going to read out some answers. What are you doing to welcome members in the meeting? Can you share your ideas? Okay, here we go. I see some things coming. We implemented a touch point monthly, card, text, or email. Monthly birthdays and anniversaries are recognized. Those are great ideas. Have a regular member spotlight. Sit next to new members or visitors. That is important because, you know, there's nothing worse than coming in and nobody talks to you except the one person that maybe invited you. We have happy and sad dollars. Happy bucks, that's also called. Recognizing achievements publicly. You know, maybe if you see somebody in the news, you can mention that in the club. That's a great way to enhance engagement. Thank you for those great ideas. Let's move on to another question. How do you connect members? Remember, many people join Rotary for the networking or maybe for the fellowship. These connections are what enhance engagement and provide value for their membership. And we need to provide value for the members' investment in their time and their dollars. So how do you connect members with one another? Invite them to the next social, Speed networking or speed dating. Now that sounds like that could be pretty raucous in a meeting. Sounds great. We have a member minute idea, buddy systems. Those are all great examples. Monthly happy hours, socials, great way to connect folks. You know, we don't sit at the same table when we have a social like we do in a meeting. We have calendar of events so everybody knows what's happening. All great examples. Relationship building is the point here. That's what creates value. So another question for you. You heard Eric talk, or you saw Eric's energy. What, don't you want to go to his meeting? Doesn't it sound like fun? All that selfie taking? I might have to learn how to do that well. I'm not very quick. He talked about taking members on a journey during the meeting and creating anticipation. How do you create that can't miss aspect of the club meeting experience? What is an example of how you create that anticipation that I am not going to miss Rotary because I don't know what's going to happen and I want to make sure I am there for it firsthand? Exciting guest speakers. Most members love to hear the speakers. That's great, and speakers are important. Good food. Okay, that's exciting. Might be exciting if we have steak and shrimp, right? And we start the theme wine or whine monthly. That sounds like fun too. Do you have to pay extra if you're whining? I want to know about that. Fun, engaged, informative meetings. What else are you doing to make it can't miss? Post what the upcoming meeting is about, so people are looking for it. In-house games and raffles. Now that sounds like fun and harkens back to the bingo that Tracy talked about. I think that was probably pretty exciting. Game night. Oh, these are all great examples. Okay, one more question. We want to expand our reach so we can increase our impact. Share in the chat what is working in your club to identify potential members, because we've got to identify some before we can invite them to a meeting or to a Discover Rotary. So how are you identifying potential members? Please share that in the chat so we can all learn from your great ideas. Service projects, local newspaper information, attend chamber events. Okay, friends of Rotarians. Share contacts. You know, one of the great ones that I've heard before is just asking the members in the room, who is your fill in the blank? Who's your dentist? Who's your doctor? Who do you use for printing? Who does your social media for your business? Those are all great ways to identify and think outside of what we might normally do. Partnering with other organizations brings you new contacts. That's great. And speakers, the speakers that come to your meetings are potential candidates for membership. Great way to identify. So keep adding those comments, and we've got one more question. If we want potential members to become Rotarians, we must deliver a good club experience. Give an example of what you do that keeps your meeting from being boring or the same old thing week after week. Remember, we want to become an irresistible club that will attract others to join us so that we are able to increase our impact. And in addition to that, sharing what you do to keep it from being boring, how about also sharing what you do to serve in the community? What's a service project you do and how does that have impact? Road trip meetings. Now that sounds interesting. Are you visiting in other areas of the community to learn about particular things? Maybe your local food bank or some other organization? Pop-up service projects, those done in a day. Good, wonderful. I see more field trips. Christmas auction of unwanted gifts. You know, we did that not long ago in my club. The ladies all brought in stuff they weren't using and we did a swap. Handing out food to the needy families. Special celebratory breakfasts. These are all great ideas. Thank you so much for attending and engaging with us via the chat tonight and providing the answers to how to become an irresistible club. As I turn it back over to Jeremy to wrap up, please put one more thing in the chat. Give us an idea of what you heard from tonight's meeting for creating an irresistible club that you will take back to your club. We want to hear what you thought was the most important for you to implement. Thanks. And back to you, Jeremy.
Well, thank you so much, Mary, for moderating your questions and answers. Great suggestions there. Really love to hear what the clubs are doing there. That's really, as I said, when Rotary happens, and you are making it happen with those great ideas. What a tremendous session tonight. I hope you found it as valuable as I did. So before we go on to what's next, how did you do in spotting how our 4 pillars of our action plan, increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing our participants' engagement, and increasing our ability to adapt, played a part in making the clubs we heard about tonight so irresistible? Yeah, there were lots of trips there, weren't there? Lots of touch points. Our action plan is a tremendous tool, and if we use it as a guide to how we do Rotary at club, district, and zone level, we won't go far wrong. And now, once again, it's awards time. And I know I'm repeating what I told you last month, but in my opinion, you can't get too much of a good thing. And rewarding and recognizing our successes is definitely that. So last month, I was delighted to note that an outstanding 13 of our district and a considerable number of our clubs succeeded not only in growing their participation in our webinars, but also grew themselves in the past year. In addition, we also felt we needed to recognize those clubs that were moving in the right direction. So we've added the honorable mentions award category to recognize those who've attended the MAP sessions and have shown improvement on their previous year's performance, recognizing that success for many will be a multi-year journey and not a one-year sprint. And as I mentioned again, this year, there's a change to our awards criteria. We've moved to an action item driven system where we will set specific membership action items at each webinar, and the completion of these will determine the level of the award that a club achieves. Districts will be awarded in direct relationship to the level of participation of the clubs in the district, with top participating districts being eligible for a gold award, and there will also be silver and bronze award, of course. And as I mentioned, honorable mention awards for those who are participating, building a multi-year approach that will in time deliver membership growth. And so you may be wondering what the second action plan item is to get you on the road to success. The first was simply to set a goal in the Membership Success Center, and the second, I can see it on the screen now, drum roll, is simply to upload your club membership plan to the Membership Success Center. This is not as complicated as it might sound, and you can see the link to a one-page club membership plan template in the chat, as well as the upload link to enable you to upload your plans to the MSC. And if you have any questions regarding the awards program, please put them in the chat too. So now for a couple of other upcoming webinars. So you think you know your brand guidelines? Well, you may want to think again. Join a virtual webinar with the zones 33 and 34 public image teams to improve your public image efforts. These will be held on Monday, 25th of September at 6 p.m. Eastern. So register now at elevaterotary.org. And our next membership action plan webinar is on Monday, October 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern. That evening will be part 2 of your club's Key to Irresistibility with a very special guest. So unveiling the path to membership excellence and improving membership experience by shaping your club's culture. And you can sign up at the link in the chat or on the website. And lastly, remember to kickstart your membership growth in this Rotary year. Set your goals in the Membership Action Plan Success Center, and also upload your membership action plan, membership plan for your club. Attend the monthly webinars like this one and implement attraction engagement strategies to become irresistible. Let's make a bigger impact in our communities and create irresistible clubs for our members. Set your goals in the MAP Membership Success Center, upload your membership action plans, and make this happen together. Thanks for being with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you next month on October 9th. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful rest of the month. Take care and good night.